I don't think I have too many wild tour stories. I feel like a lot of people's wild tour stories start off with them being drunk. And I don't drink. I feel like also my first tour, my mom had a meeting with like, the whole band, just letting them know if anything happened to me, what would happen to them. Like she literally put her tomahawk on the table. My mom's Native and she likes to sharpen her tomahawk in public. And I was probably like 18, on my first tour. I think probably maybe the types of things I've overcome, like I've done a lot of international tours, sometimes where you'll get to certain venues and maybe there's no electricity, and having to work around that. We've been rained out before where we literally just had like a little kind of like a mat roof made out of some type of leaf, and hoping that the rain didn't come through and destroy all the equipment before the show was over. I have toured or performed in countries that were like on the verge of wars and revolutions, and that's been pretty scary. It's hard to even think back, on all the different experiences in different countries. I just kind of stay open. A lot of times when Americans travel, people expect you to be almost really spoiled, used to having a certain amount of comfort. So I really try to just stay open to everyone's, unique experience. And just really try to let them know, like, I'm here for you all, whether we have electricity or don't, whether we, have the back line we ordered or not, whatever the situation is, we make sure that everyone has a good time, that the spirit of the music is still uplifted, and it's, that we come in humility, because that's the one thing, like music is that thing that breaks all of the divides and the barriers between different ethnicities and cultures across the world. So I traveled through Central America, most recently doing this tour to bring awareness about femicides, just mass amounts of women being murdered either due to domestic violence or due to the cartel. We paired them with performances and also workshops. And I mean, it was one of the most powerful experiences I've ever been a part of, just having so many young women in particular share their stories, and not just me empowering them or them inspiring me, but throughout the audience, them also encouraging and empowering each other through their stories that maybe they never spoke about before then. We had a lot of like come to God moments on that tour, just through the ministry of the music, as we are sharing together. It's really transformative, because it's not just you performing. Like for me, I may have my set list that I'm gonna do, but I'm also feeling the crowd and reading the energy, and I'm also praying before I start, like, God, show me what it is that I'm supposed to bring here and deliver, as opposed to what I want to sing based on what's on my album or this and the third. Sometimes we just create something new in the moment if that's what needs to happen, you know what I mean? Because that's really the role we play as a servant to that space and that energy and that audience, whatever. So, yeah, I think that's about as wild as my tour stories get, besides maybe like losing my luggage in New Orleans. I learned how to be a good leader being on the road. First I learned to be a good student. Before I really had my own band on the road, I learned to be a good student, and I've been blessed to be able to tour with artists who really run tight ships and who have great teams and great leadership. And I've been able to watch them and study how they do things. And a lot of times there won't be ideal situations, and you really have to just, push through. Sometimes all your luggage gets lost and you only have the same outfit you've had on for 3 days and you still got to rock in it. I think as a woman band leader, I had to overcome some challenges in terms of my own confidence of being able to lead men, because sometimes they're not very, they're kind of resistant. They can be very resistant to it. For me, I had to learn to trust my own self and trust my instincts and trust not just my musical knowledge, but also my intuition of knowing, like, nah, we gonna turn here, because if you waver, then they'll waver. But if you are exact and true, you know what I mean? You trust yourself and you trust the guidance that you're being given with 100%. You walk in it with commitment. They don't have no choice but to follow you in it, you know what I mean? And when it works enough times, then they learn to trust you and you learn to trust yourself. So I feel like I really learned how to be a good leader And not just on stage, off stage too, you know, negotiating situations to make sure my band got the best situation, to make sure everyone's taken care of, people are being treated fairly, negotiating beefs between people. It's just a lot of things that it's like you don't know about yourself until there's no other choice and you have to figure it out, you know, and you grow. And it's like, I feel like after my first international tour, man, I felt so powerful. I was like, oh my God, I can do anything. I can literally do anything, you know? Because you never know, like every country, there's different, you know, different sets of circumstances that may not happen in your country, you know, that you wouldn't even know to expect. And just navigating through all of those things, you know, yeah, taught me a lot about myself, you know?